Hi friends, this is Sri from Techie Talks AI. Welcome to Lab 2, where we'll go one step further into understanding LLM and the transformer architecture. Have you ever wondered how a machine understands language? How it somehow knows that king minus man plus woman could be queen, even though you never taught it that directly? Well, today I'm going to pull back the curtain. We're going to look at the secret mathematical world inside an LLM, the embeddings. In lab 1, we saw how the input text is converted to token IDs. That happened somewhere here before we can send our data into the transformer architecture. In this video, in lab 2, what we're going to see is what are we going to do with those token IDs? They are just numbers with one-to-one mapping to those tokens or subwords. We are going to look at the secret mathematical world inside an LLM, the embeddings. That happens here. We will answer questions that confuse even many AI engineers. What exactly is an embedding? Is it reversible, which no one has addressed? That is, a token we convert to an embedding. Can we get the original token back? How does a meaningless vector suddenly become semantic understanding? What is the vocabulary size? And is it the same as token IDs? Stay with me because I promise after this demo, embeddings will never feel mysterious again. So what really is embedding? At the simplest level, an embedding is a vector, which is actually a list of numbers, a long list of numbers. But inside an LLM, it becomes something magical. And embedding is how the model converts text to meaning. Every token in the model's vocabulary, that could be 50,000 tokens, sometimes 100,000, is mapped to a fixed length vector. For example, GPT-3 has 12,288 dimensional embedding. Imagine the size of GPT-3 dimension, 12,288. Smaller models can be 768 or 1024 or 1536, etc. dimensions. In our demo text embedding ADA 002, we had 1536 dimensions. Each dimension captures a faint aspect of meaning, not understandable individually by humans, but together they become a rich representation. So when you see a vector like minus 0123, comma 0.9912, comma minus 0442, etc., a long list of 1,536 values, that is literally the machine's internal meaning for your token. How does semantic meaning emerge? No human writes embeddings. No engineer manually sets them. They are learned through training. During training, tokens are converted to random vectors. The model learns relationships, words used together, words used similarly, words used in similar contexts. Through billions of gradient updates, which is the learning process, the vectors slowly shift into semantic positions. That is why dog and cat end up near each other. Doctor and nurse cluster, run, running, ran, map to similar regions. King minus man plus woman approximate into queen becomes possible because embeddings compress patterns of usage into geometric structure. So here we have an embedding projector, but this is just a three-dimensional representation of how these embeddings stay in a hyperdimensional space. We cannot represent something more than three visually. So, but each dot represent a word in that space. And when their meanings are similar, these dots come closer. That is the idea. When we convert a sentence or a token ID to an embedding, it gets converted to a dot with that many dimensional vector attached to it. This much of understanding is good enough for our journey. Now, question is an embedding reversible? Let's answer the big question. No, embeddings are not reversible. Even if you know the entire embedding matrix before positional encoding, that we will see in lab 3, before normalization, you still cannot perfectly get the original token back. Why? Because multiple tokens can map to similar vectors, and the embedding process is not invertible. A 1536 dimensional vector contains all distributional meaning, not identity. It's like blending three fruits into a juice. The juice tells you flavors, but you cannot extract the exact fruit pieces back. I hope you're getting it. Vocab size versus token IDs. Vocabulary size, number of unique tokens the tokenizer knows. Common LLMs, GPT-3, we saw around 50,257 tokens. GPT-4 also uses similar base vocab. Each token gets a unique token ID. We saw that. Say, for example, the token ID is 464, ING token ID is 763, smiley emoji, something else. Punctuation, spaces, even weird bytes have IDs attached to it. But token IDs are not embeddings. Token IDs are small integers which are meaningless. Embeddings are high-dimensional floating point vectors. The model uses token IDs only to look up the embeddings from the embedding matrix. We will see that in this demo. So token ID gets converted to embedding vector like a dictionary lookup. Let's get on with our quick demo. So here we have the script to highlight creation of embedding. So what we will do is we will run this script using our run.sh, which is just the Python environment. Remember, the link to the code is given in the description. If you start from top, original text is, this is a sample sentence to generate an embedding for. That is our original text. That gets converted to subwords or subword tokens. This has become one token, is space and is token, second token, space and A is our third token, and so on. So these are tokens, and each of those subword tokens gets a unique number. Space and is becomes 374. Space and alphabet A becomes 264. And remember, these numbers are fixed. These numbers have no meaning, but always 264 means space and A. That is how token IDs get created. Clear? So totally, this sentence, though it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 words, there are 11 tokens. And we can convert each of those tokens to embeddings. So what happens is this token ID 2028 is for this, correct? And that gets 1536 numbers to represent its meaning richly. That is what is shown here. See here, a long list of floating point numbers for just one token ID 2028 for the subword this. Clear? So each of these token IDs will get 1536 floating point numbers to give it the semantic meaning. But then the question is, what is the use of getting an embedding for an entire sentence? That is what we will see in our next demo. So in the first demo, we are just showing how these tokens can be converted to embeddings. And we are also showing how a full sentence can be converted to an embedding. Now let's run our second demo. Let's look at this picture. When we take an input sentence and convert that sentence to an embedding, see here, if you take any two dots, say this dot and this dot, we can find the similarity by computing the distance between the point. This and this, we have longer distance, meaning they're less similar. But this and this are closer. So their meaning is closer. Clear? And in order to get their similarity, we use a cosine function. That is what we are demonstrating in our lab 3. So in this demo, what we will do is we will take 3 sentences. One base sentence. That sentence is, this is a sample sentence to generate an embedding for. And we will create an embedding. When you create an embedding, we create a dot in that hyperspace. Then we have another similar sentence. This is another example sentence used to create embedding vector. So do you agree that these two sentences are similar? So for this also we'll create an embedding. Remember, when we say create an embedding, we convert this sentence into a vector with 1536 dimensions. And then we also have a dissimilar sentence. Yesterday I rode my bicycle along the beach and watched the sunset. So first we will convert each of these sentences into their embeddings. Then we will use the cosine function to compute the similarity. So let's run it and see the output. Okay, so here, this is the base sentence embedding, similar sentence embedding, dissimilar sentence embedding. These embeddings won't mean anything to us because they're huge. We cannot look at it and see how close or how far their meanings are. Correct? So what we do is we do a cosine similarity. What we do is we do a cosine similarity to compute the distance. So base, we compare base sentence with the similar sentence. See, cosine similarity is 0.9. Closer to 1 means more similar. Okay. And cosine distance closer to 0 is more similar. So here we have and base sentence and the dissimilar sentence cosine similarity is 0.73. They are less similar. See this 0.9 and 0.7. Closer to 1 means more similar. And their distance is farther. See 0.26. Whereas similar sentence distance is 0.05. Are you getting the point? And this is a very useful mechanism to find how similar sentences are. And this is needed when we use RAG or retrieval augmented generation. We will address that in coming videos. When we have an embedding database called vector database, and when an input query comes, we convert the query to an embedding and use this similarity mechanism to pick matching embeddings or closest embeddings, and then pick the corresponding chunks from the RAG database. So that is it for this video on embeddings. We have only reached this far in our journey into transformer architecture. Stay tuned for Lab 3. Thanks for watching. Apply these tips and level up today. Smash like if it helped. Subscribe to Techie Talks AI for deep dive and drop your biggest challenge in comments. Ready for personalized one-to-one Zoom sessions? I mentor just few students on cloud, coding, DevOps, no-code solution, AI agents, or electronics, tailored to your goals. Limited slots. Book via the link in the description before it's gone. See you in the next video.